section is about graphing the X and Y intercepts. Right? So the first thing you have to do is either erase the X if they ask for the Y-intercept, or erase the Y if they ask for the X-intercept. That's all you have to do. Now, the reason why we can review real quick. 2x plus y equals -2. So if you have, for example, a dot right on the x-axis, that means it would be left 1 and up or down 0 because it has to be touching that line. So that tells you for the x-intercept, the y value is always 0. For the y-intercept, the x value is always 0. So that's how you find it. Anything times 0 disappears. That's why I teach you, you don't have to plug in the 0 if you just eliminate the term. The opposite of what they're asking. So if they're asking for the x-intercept, you erase the y. If they're asking for the y-intercept, you erase the x. So let's do both on number 1. If I want to find the y-intercept, I know it's going to be 0, comma, something. That something I'm going to find out by erasing the x term. Why am I erasing the x term? Because they're asking for the y-intercept. So now, what do we have left here? Y equals -2. The y is by itself, so I don't have to do any work. It is 0, comma, -2, which is right down here. You can even see that number, it's down here. Now we do the same thing, but for the x-intercept. If you want to find the x-intercept, you know that the y value has to be 0. So to find the x-intercept, just erase the y term. So we erase the y term. What do we have left here? 2x equals -2. Let's solve for x. All you have to do is divide both sides by the coefficient, and we get x equals -1. So my x-intercept is -1, comma 0, which is right here. Once you have 2 dots, you can draw a line. We just graph the line using the x and y-intercepts. If you have a question, please stop me. Now these we can do quicker because I don't have to explain this whole thing to you. Right? Cover the x term. We have y equals -2. Now we do the opposite. We cover the y term and we solve what's left. We have -2x equals -2. How do you solve that? By dividing both sides by the coefficient. X equals +1. So right on the x-axis, on +1, we put a dot. Once you have 2 dots, you draw a line and you have a graph. So these are 2 of the questions from the worksheet yesterday. Obviously, after now, you can't turn them in anymore because we are reviewing the questions. Okay, on the next one, it's graphing by using a table. Now, on the first one, it's just y equals 2x. So your job is just to replace the x values with the x values that you put in the table. So, as long as you don't see a fraction, you can put 0, 1, 2, -1, -2. Now we plug these numbers in for x. So times 0 equals 0. 2 times 1 equals 2. 2 times 2 equals 4. Notice, all of these are just the numbers that we're plugging in here for x. Negative 1 times 2, negative 2. Negative 2 times 2, negative 4. Now all you have to do is plot those points. 0, 0, 1, 2, 2, 4, negative 1, negative 2, negative 2, negative 4. So all those points create a line. So all the way through your graph, just go through your points. And that's how you graph them using a table. Now, number 6, really important because I didn't show you this yesterday. Most of you guys just put numbers here and plugged it in. I recommend you change up how you're going to do this. I recommend the first step is trying to get that equation to look like this one, trying to isolate the y. Why? Because you don't know if this is going to give you a fraction or not. If it gives you a fraction, these numbers are different. You can't use any numbers if there's a fraction. You have to use numbers that are multiples of the denominator. So since we can't tell if there's a fraction right now, we can't put the numbers down. So let me show you what you do first. All you do is isolate the y value. So first thing you got to do is subtract the x from both sides. That'll leave you with 2y equals negative x plus 4. You know there's a negative 1 there. And now divide everything by 2 by the coefficient. And now that'll leave you with y equals negative 1 over 2x plus 2. Now that tells me that the numbers in here cannot be the same numbers as here. You can't use 0, 1, 2, negative 1, negative 2, because it has to be multiples of the denominator. So first number could be 0, but the next one has to be 2. Next one has to be 4. And now we can use negative 2 and negative 4. Those guaranteed will not give you a decimal answer because you don't want to try to graph decimals. Not fun. So now here, when we plug in 0, negative 1/2 times 0 plus 2. That's the equation, negative 1/2 x plus 2. So you plug in each one of these and solve. Anything times 0 is 0, 0 plus 2 is 2. Now 2 times negative 1/2 is negative 1. Negative 1 plus 2, positive 1. Negative 1/2 times 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 2, 0. Negative 2 times negative 1/2 is positive 1. Positive 1 plus 2 is 3. Negative 1/2 times negative 4 is positive 2. 2 plus 2, positive 4. Now you just plot your points and you're done. But who can tell me from the class, what is the y-intercept? Just looking at the table. What is the y-intercept? Can anyone in this class tell me what is the y-intercept by looking at this table? Can you hear me there? Can you hear me through the screen? Hello? Alright. No participation? Fine. I'll just repeat it. Even though you can't answer because you didn't learn it the first time. When the x value is 0, that other number is your y-intercept. When the y value is 0, that other number is your x-intercept. So now we can graph it using 2 points. Always remember this because this is what you need at the end of the year when you take the test, EOC, when you take an SAT to get to college. You have to be able to read tables, graphs, and linear equations. It's a must. on to this section. This is like the bottom section of the worksheet you did yesterday, but I chose these problems from IXL because that is what I want you working on after we're done with this lesson. I want you working on the 3 IXLs that you owe me so you can practice. So the first thing you do is make sure that the y is by itself. In this case, the y is by itself on both equations. Why do I want the y by itself? Because when it's in slope-intercept form, which means the y is by itself, you can see what the slope is and you can see what the y-intercept is. So first dot you make is using the y-intercept. So positive A would be right here, touching the y-axis. And now, 1 over 2 is the slope. The top number is the rise, the bottom number is the run. So if this is positive 1, it would be up 1. If it's negative 1, it would have been down 1. So we have to go up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2 is right here. That's it. Once you have your 2 dots, you can graph. Now let's do this one. Positive 5. Right on the y-axis. Why does it go on the y-axis? Because that is the y-intercept. So the line has to go through there. And now, the slope is negative 8. Any number can be put over 1. So now we know negative 8 is not up 8. Negative 8 has to be down 8 units. So here's 4 and 4 more. Down 8 would be down here. And then positive 1 would be right 1. Now once you have 2 dots, you can draw a graph. Simple? Any questions? Alright, so this is what S7 looks like. This is what S7 looks like. This is, I think, the most important one because this will get you a lot of quick practice on this lesson. And it'll make you understand on a graph what the y-intercept actually means because a lot of you are still confused as to what the y-intercept represents. It just means that the line goes through the y-axis at that point. Now this here is how S14 is. Now for S14, they give you the x values. They're right here. So all you have to do is plug those values in for x in the equation. So fx means y. So this is the same as saying y equals x plus 3. Just replace x with these numbers. So 0 plus 3 equals 3. 1 plus 3 equals 4. Now we put a 3 in there. 3 plus 3 equals 6. 5 plus 3 equals 8. Now on the graph, all you have to do is graph 2 of those points. So 0, 3, 1, 4. And that's how you would graph it. That's how S14 is. Any questions on this one? Pretty simple. Now let's say this was 2x plus 3. We would do 2 times 0 plus 3. 2 times 1 plus 3. 2 times 3 plus 3. 2 times 5 plus 3. You do the same thing and solve it. Order of operation, multiplication, then you add. So 0 plus 3 would have been 3. 2 plus 3, 5. 6 plus 3, 9. And 10 plus 3, 13. Simple. That's all you do on S14. And the last page is just reviewing the X and Y-intercept one that we did. So here it's asking for the Y-intercept. So what letter are we going to erase? The X. So we have 4y equals 4. Divide both sides by the coefficient, and we get y equals 1. 0, 1. Those are the coordinates to this y-intercept. Now here they're asking for the x-intercept, so I cover the y. What do I have left? X equals 2. Done. What is it? The coordinates for the x-intercept? 2, 0. Any questions so far? So that is it for the explanation. Now, like I said, what I want you guys to do is to go to your IXL and do all 3 of them. I want you to do S7, S14, and S18. It's on Google Classroom. So make sure you look at it if you're confused on which ones to do. Anybody have any questions, just ask and I'll take you to a breakout room. You can ask me any